Hello, this is the video for the Civil 3D Import-Export Surface Labels app available on the Autodesk App Store. This app allows for exporting Civil 3D surface labels into a external text file. It stores the data such as the insertion point, the drag state, location, the styles, whether it's a marker style or a label style, stores that data in there, and then allows for importing and assigning to a different surface in the same drawing or in a separate drawing. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump into Civil 3D here. So I have two drawings that are using basically the same surface at this point. This surface has a number of labels on it. It has contour labels, slope labels, and spot elevation labels. On the surface, you'll see we have some contour labels using the existing contour label style. We have some proposed labels that have multiple vertices. Proposed labels only labeling the major contours and not the minor. And then a proposed contour label that is quite lengthy that does the same function. I'm just going to quickly turn off the contour label line. The app does not store the information for that line that appears when generating labels. The app is set up to default turn that off. It just doesn't store the information of what the setting was. I believe typically most people turn that line off. Then from there we have spot elevation labels, and these are using multiple types. You'll see that the markers are different here between those two. The styles are different. Here's a different marker. This has a drag state on this one, and we can set a few more with some drag states just to give some demonstration. Then we have a number of slope labels in drawing. Now slope labels have a 1-point insertion and then as well as a 2-point insertion. So the app does support that as well as supporting the styles within the slope labels. So that was a 2-point. I believe this one is a 1-point slope label. So with that, I'll go ahead and run the export command. So we'll hit export surface labels, and then you'll pick which type of label you want to deal with. So we're going to deal with spot elevation labels, and then give you the ability to pick one style to filter out if you would like, or you can do a control and select multiple to get all of the labels essentially. And then you also have to select which surface they're associated to. So if you have multiple surfaces and multiple labels that are associated to different surfaces, you can filter them that way. And then we'll go ahead and run the export labels. And I'm just going to save it here. It defaults to the location of where your drawing is saved currently. So I'm going to overwrite this text file that I already have in here. Go ahead and save that. And you can see 8 labels have been saved to that location. Now we'll go ahead and run the slope labels. And I'll do just the % for now. And real quick, let me just open up one of these text files so you can see how it saves. And this is a typical spot elevation text file. So it saves the style name, the marker style name, the location for the insert, and then also the drag location. So these things could be modified in the text file. There are some checks when inserting into CAD that verify that the style does exist in the drawing. If it doesn't, it just assigns one. If the coordinates do not line up over top of the surface, it will not insert it. Just a few checks like that. But for the most part, it's working pretty well. So we'll go ahead and open up another one here. Here's the slope labels. So you can see it's storing the 1-point or 2-point based on what type of label it is. And here's the contour one. So you can see it basically merges the major minor user contour style into one style name, and then stores the number of vertices, and then the vertices follow after that for insertion. So with that, we're in the middle of exporting the slope, so I'm going to go ahead and pick slope and save. And we'll run one more time and export the contours. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of the contours. Okay. So now we'll bounce over to my other drawing, which is, again, it's the same surface, just for demonstration purposes. And we'll go ahead and do import. And I'm going to pick, let's start with the contour labels. So upon bringing them in, you get a view over here that looks like you can select these, or you need to select them. The selection is there is no selection over here. It just shows you what's in the file. It's just showing that it's actually reading the file. So shows you the number of vertices that are going to come in for each one of those lines. But every one of these will populate into the drawing. All you would need to do here is just pick a surface, which in this case there's only one surface. So other drawings you might have multiple surfaces, so you need to select which one you need. So we'll go ahead and say insert. And it says 4 contour labels created. There were 4. And we take a look, and you can see that they're where they need to be. I believe we just need to do a regen, bring them to the front. But you can see that they are maintaining the vertices, especially this one here with the multiple vertices down the line. Let's go ahead and run I did export. Let's do import. Let's see the slope labels. So here we have 4, and you can see the 1 points and the 2 point labels. Select the surface, insert them, 4 labels created. And so we have labels here. Here's a 1 point, here's a 1 point, that's a 2 point, and that's a 2 point. Now we only did one style with that export, which is why they're all reading the same style type. We could have done multiple, but for that we just did one. Then we'll do the export, or bring in the exported spot elevation labels. As you can see, all the spots that are going to come in. And we're going to go ahead and select the surface and import. And you can see that the spot elevations maintain the style that's used, and then also maintain the drag states of where they're placed. So if you have multiple drawings set up with similar surfaces, in one case, for instance, kind of a typical one is landfills. You have different layers within the landfill to label information on. So they're all spatially relative, and you may want drawings to look the same as far as where labels are placed on the drawings, but assign them to different surfaces. So with this app, this would help speed up that process and make sure that the labels are in the exact same location as they were in another drawing. Because you can't just copy and paste from one drawing to another and assign them. It will not work. So this app allows you to store that information into an external file and then import in onto a new surface. Can be pretty useful. So I appreciate your time watching. Thanks.